For all the designers, coordinators, planners out there taking money under the table, and to those vendors that are giving that money under the table, are these kickbacks legal? We're going to talk about that in today's video. So what is a kickback for the sake of this episode? And because it could have many definitions. So when I am saying kickback, what we're talking about in this video is a couple of different scenarios. The first one is basically a commission, some type of commission setup where the planner will refer the client to a particular vendor. The vendor then, through the planner, invoices the client. And when the client pays the planner, theoretically, because the planner is going to pass that money to the vendor, the planner keeps a certain amount in which the vendor and the planner already knew about, and the client does not. So some type of commission. Client pays the planner keeps some, pays the vendor, client doesn't know about it. The second part is just a straight up referral fee. So the vendor invoices the client and the vendor just behind the scenes pays a percentage to the planner for the referral. Again, client doesn't know. So when I say kickback, the commission situation and the referral situation are what I'm talking about, but specifically the client doesn't know. That's what I'm talking about. Certain laws, certain federal and state laws outlaw kickbacks in this way in different industries. So by way of example, there are a massive set of federal regulations governing contracting, general contracting, making buildings, these type of things, where they don't allow the main dude smoking the cigar in the little tractor trailer outside of the construction site from taking kickbacks from the subcontractors. Physicians are another industry that comes to mind. Physicians typically by federal and state law are not allowed to refer patients to specialists in which the doctor or the physician owns a portion of the specialist, by way of example. So there are specific industries that are more highly regulated regarding kickbacks than others. Typically, the wedding and event industry is not one of these. So by and large, the wedding and event industry as it relates to kickbacks are going to be governed most likely by whatever your state unfair trade practices acts are. And every state has some type of unfair trade practice act. Or the wedding and event industry is governed by the common law concept of misrepresentation. So let's go to each one of those piece by piece. So with regard to unfair practice acts, what is that? Typically, these are consumer protection statutes that, prevent robocalls or prevent high pressure sales, these type of things. In some states, they also govern the way in which two parties can contract. So by way of example, in California, secret payments or rebates or refunds or commissions in a transaction are illegal if they are, again, if they are secret and the offer extended to one wouldn't be extended to someone else. Okay. So whether or not your kickback scheme or your commission violates that, I don't know. But the main thing that I would take from most unfair practice acts around the country, and in particular in California, is that to be illegal, it has to be secret. Okay. The commission or the kickback to be illegal is secret. It would not apply typically if it is out in the open. So that's how most of the unfair practice acts work across the country. And you might be in a state that doesn't have one of these type of things like California does. Let's set unfair practice act to the side. Now let's talk about the concept of common law misrepresentation. And what that means is that typically people can sue if they've been misled into going into a contract. So most of the time, depending on what state you're in, the elements of misrepresentation, sometimes called fraudulent misrepresentation, are that a false statement has been made about a material fact of a contract. That false statement was made specifically to get somebody to enter into the contract, and that the individual relied on that material misrepresentation. Now, whether or not your kickback scheme or your commission would run afoul of misrepresentation, I don't know. But again, the idea here is that it's false or that it is secret. So you can see where this is going. I can't tell you, because every state is different, whether or not your specific kickback scheme, the way it is functioning, is legal. The only thing that I can tell you, based on common law from a state to state and based on how most Unfair Practice Act statutes work, is that if your scheme is secret, then you are more likely running afoul of those laws. You're more likely to be subject to a lawsuit based on misrepresentation, where the money being pocketed by you is secret. That increases your risk of violating that law or being sued. So we may lessen that liability by being upfront with commissions or referral fees or kickbacks in the client contract itself. So adding language to the fact that, planner may collect payment and reserve some of it based on some type of administration fee or something along those lines, and making sure the client understands that that might be separate and apart from whatever other fees they're being paid. So being upfront with the client at the beginning of the relationship in the writing will help reduce the likelihood that you're going to be sued for misrepresentation or that you would run afoul of those unfair practices acts. Always honesty, I would say, is going to help you the most in, not just legal things, but in business things. So now, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of controversy whether or not, even if it's not secret, even if you tell the client about it, whether or not it's a good idea. And I'm not here to tell you whether or not it's a good idea. I'm only here to tell you how to reduce the likelihood of lawsuit or eliminate the likelihood of lawsuit. I can't tell you whether or not that's some type of ethical violation or something like that. I don't have an answer for that. So take that for what it's worth. If you leave it in the comments. Like, do you take a commission that the client knows or doesn't know about? Do you think that this is an industry standard or this is something that needs to change? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. New videos out every week, folks, every Monday. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all of those things. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, everybody, we'll see you next week.